Nuclear energy generates 20% of America's electricity and nearly 50% of the nation's clean, carbon-free power, yet it's still one of the most misunderstood technologies in the entire energy sector. People fear it, politicians debate it, and countries depend on it, but the facts are loud. Nuclear is the single most reliable energy source in the United States. When people hear nuclear, the reaction is usually emotional before it's logical. That's the biggest problem. Nuclear energy is operating under a decades-old reputation shaped by fear, outdated disasters, and Hollywood dramatization. But the real numbers, the real science, and the real energy landscape of 2025 tell a totally different story, one the American public deserves to hear. Let's cut through the noise. 1. Nuclear is the most reliable energy source in the United States. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, nuclear power plants have a capacity factor above 92%, meaning they run almost all day, every day, without depending on weather, geography, or sunlight. For comparison, wind, 35%, solar, 25%, natural gas, approximately 55%. If the U.S. wants a stable grid, especially with rising electricity demand from AI data centers, electric vehicles, and smart infrastructure, nuclear isn't optional. It's the backbone. 2. Modern nuclear plants don't resemble the old ones. Old designs were bulky, oversimplified, and lacked the layers of fail-safe technology we have today. Modern reactors, especially small modular reactors, SMRs, are built with passive safety systems that shut down automatically without human intervention or external power. SMRs are cheaper to build, faster to deploy, safer by design, ideal for local grids and remote regions. The United States is already pushing SMRs as the future of domestic energy security. 3. Nuclear waste is tiny compared to other industries. One of the biggest misconceptions is the waste problem. Here's the truth. All nuclear waste produced in the U.S. since the 1950s can fit on a single football field, stacked less than 10 yards high. It's solid, safely stored, and heavily regulated. Unlike chemical waste or fossil fuel emissions, nuclear waste doesn't leak into the atmosphere. Plus, advanced reactors can reuse spent fuel, reducing waste even further. 4. Nuclear energy produces almost zero carbon emissions. Nuclear is the only technology that can deliver massive power without the carbon footprint. If the U.S. is serious about energy independence and climate goals, nuclear must stay on the table. A single nuclear plant prevents millions of tons of CO from entering the atmosphere every year. 5. The U.S.-China energy race makes nuclear even more critical. China is currently building nuclear plants at a speed the U.S. isn't matching. Why does that matter? Because whoever dominates nuclear tech sets global energy standards, and gains geopolitical leverage. If the U.S. wants control over its energy future, national security, and global influence, nuclear has to expand. 6. The real risk is not using nuclear, it's losing power stability. Blackouts, grid instability, and rising electricity costs are becoming everyday problems for many states. Renewable energy is essential, but renewables alone can't sustain the grid. Nuclear fills the gap between demand and consistency. Shutting down nuclear plants without fully replacing them has led to higher carbon emissions, higher energy prices, greater dependence on natural gas. That's not a smart play for a country that wants long-term resilience. 7. The U.S. public needs real information, not fear-based narratives. Talk about Chernobyl and Fukushima gets thrown around constantly, but the context is usually missing. Chernobyl had zero modern safety design. Fukushima's reactors were from the 1970s. Neither reflects present U.S. standards. In America, the nuclear industry operates under some of the strictest safety regulations on the planet. The truth is simple. Nuclear energy is safe, clean, reliable, and essential for America's future. The longer we delay new projects, the more we fall behind, economically, technologically, and environmentally. If you want more fact-driven breakdowns on how the world's energy systems actually work, not the myths, not the headlines, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for the next deep dive. Your understanding of the future starts here.